Good afternoon, everyone. I had originally planned on starting this video tomorrow morning. I just drove to this area. I just arrived like 1 minute ago. This is where I'm going to be starting a hike slash climb that I'm going to be doing tomorrow morning. And I was just going to start the video tomorrow morning, but the setting sun is just lighting up this wall of cliff here, and I wanted to show it to you. This side of the mountain faces west in the direction of the setting sun, and tomorrow morning when I start my way up this thing, it won't look nearly as beautiful. So I wanted to give you guys this sneak peek tonight, and just look at the colors. Got the beautiful greens of all of these pinyon and juniper trees down here, and then all kinds of pinks and creams and whites, and then reds and oranges and purples. It's just amazing. The plan for tomorrow morning is to climb up this. I think it starts like over here somewhere and then somehow goes up this. I don't know. I have instructions that I'm gonna try to follow. Let's go find a campsite somewhere in this area. I could just camp right here, but it's not especially flat, and this is kind of like the trailhead for this climb that goes up the mountain. And so I'd like to find another spot. There was another little side dirt road that branched off of the main one that I came in on, so let's backtrack a little bit and see where that goes. I found a spot. It's about half a mile away from that other road that I was on. There just wasn't anything good over there. Pretty awesome campsite though, and again, great views of this beast up here. Beautiful area. And then looking in the other direction, we have the sun that has just set behind these cliffs over here. Just a dramatic place. In the morning, I'll explain more about where I am and what this area is, but for now, I'm exhausted. I woke up early this morning, I went fishing for a couple hours, then I drove 5 hours across half of Colorado, and so I'm ready for a break. I'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning, I slept great and I am back at the trailhead. Let's show you one more time the route that we're gonna take to get up this thing. It's not quite 9 o'clock yet. The sun hasn't quite started to poke over the ridge, so we're still in the shade for a little while. But we are gonna go up this wash here, up this little canyon, to this point right here. It's the highest point of dirt, basically, before you get to this line of cliffs. From there, we are going up and over this stuff somehow, and I think we're ending up to the left of this kind of dome-shaped rock. Does not look easy. And this is the gear I'm taking with me. The backpack is full to bursting. It is solid and kind of heavy, but we'll be able to manage. And just like that, the sun is now peeking over the top. But as we hike closer toward the mountain, I think we'll be back in shade for a little while here. I'm following a trip report that I found online of someone else who did this and wrote it up. And he wrote it up as a series of 9 sections. So he broke this climb up into 9 sections. So we're gonna be following those sections, and I'll be talking us through those 9 sections as we do them, those 9 parts. The first part doesn't even start until we get to the top of that pile of dirt over there. So we have our work cut out for us on this approach to get to the start of the actual climbing. So our first goal is to get to the top of that cone of dirt at the base of the cliff. So I am in far western Colorado, close to a little speck of a town called Gateway. I'm only 3 or 4 miles from the Utah border, and as the crow flies, I think I'm only about 30 miles from Moab. I'm basically 30 miles directly east of Moab, Utah. But this is canyon country, and there is no direct, straight road between here and Moab. It would probably take a couple hours to drive to Moab from here to cover that 30 miles as the crow flies. And this mountain is called the Palisade, which I think is a great name for this. It is just a solid wall. It is like a fortress. And the town of Gateway is just sort of on the other side of this. And the far edge of this mountain, of this mesa, is a very thin fin of rock. And that sort of looms over the town of Gateway. I took a picture and some video of that when I was driving through Gateway yesterday afternoon. I'll put that on the screen here so you can see what I mean. And that is how this mountain first came to my attention. When I came through the area, when I drove through Gateway probably 6 or 8 years ago, I noticed that big looming rock and that impressive wall of mountain above town, and I thought, someday I'm going to climb that. And today is that someday. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Look at these little hoodoos down here. Look how skinny these are. And how improbable. Pretty neat. Oh man, I feel like that took absolutely forever. But to be more specific, it took 1 hour and 18 minutes. That was exhausting. Going up that steep slope and the steep kind of rib of dirt. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. And this is not a lightweight backpack. I have a climbing rope in here, just as a sneak preview. And climbing ropes are not lightweight, at least not the one that I have with me. I think this is the end of the approach and the start of the actual climb. I think this is part one. Part one of, was it 7 or 9? Yeah, part 1 of 9 is go up this right here, scramble up this, and then angle left, and then go up a rock corner. Which seems like 2 parts to me, but 1 part. Up, over, up is what we're doing. This is too crumbly. I'm gonna go up over here instead. Yeah, I was initially gonna go up right here, but I mean, look how crumbly this is. So I think instead, well, let's see, can I go up this? Yeah, I can actually. I was gonna go across this way up these steps here, but I think I can go up this little corner. No, I'll go up the steps. Seems a little bit more straightforward. Okay, that was that. Let's continue crossing left, I guess, and hope we can find the next corner that we're supposed to go up. Oh, there's some webbing here to repel what I just climbed up, if you were so inclined. I think from here I'm supposed to just go left across these slabs. You would not want to fall here. Okay, I think this is the corner that I'll be climbing. Yeah, this is really the only the only weakness over here. I've attached the GoPro to my helmet and put my helmet on. I actually did just climb up this without the backpack on and off camera to see if I could do it, and I could, so let's do it with the full gear now. Of course, climbing up is one thing, climbing down is the hard part. But again, I think there's a rappel station at the top of this corner. That's really why I brought the rope, so that I can rappel down these sections if I need to on the way down, or if I want to. So this is getting into technical rock climbing territory. This is rated 5.2, if that means anything to you. But it's short, it's like 15 feet of climbing. This is called a dihedral, where there are two planes of rock that meet together to form a corner. It's called a dihedral. Let's adjust the camera down a little bit. Okay, almost there. Good handholds, good footholds. It's not too bad. Okay, and we're done. And like I thought, there is a rappel station right here. We have some slings with some carabiners on them wrapped around this tree. Okay, so that's the end of part 1. Let's see what part 2 entails. Part 2, traverse to climber's left and continue on a trail following cairns. This is class 2 to 3 walking with some exposure. Some sections you are on slick rock with a narrow path through. Classic, beautiful fun. Not technically difficult, but some may be afraid of the exposure. Okay, let's keep going. Looks like there's a little bit of a path going through this area. This doesn't get climbed very often, but I mean, obviously it gets climbed often enough for there to be kind of a path here. Okay. Yeah, this is the slick rock, narrow, exposed, fun section. Little cairn right there. Yeah, very easy. It's just, just walking, but yeah, again, you don't want to fall. And as is often the case when I do things like this, I'm just amazed that someone figured out this route up the thing. It's incredible. This looks like the skinniest, steepest part. Not bad. And we have a cairn right here. I also have a couple GPS tracks that I'm following on my phone. It's a little bit chaotic, but gives me a general idea of whether I'm somewhere in the vicinity of the right path or not. Up and left, up and left. When in doubt, go up and left. Here's another little natural path through the slick rock. That's amazing. Okay, I think this is part 3. And I think that this is one of the cruxes of the route, one of the hardest parts. I have to go up this rocky slab here. This looks, I mean, this looks the most direct, but also kind of featureless. And it gets kind of steep in the middle. Let's explore the left side a little bit. This looks potentially doable right here. It's almost like there are nice little steps, little handholds. I think we could even bypass a good chunk of this if we go far to the left, but then that's putting us above a steep cliff. So if you were to slip over there, you'd die. And so I think right here, if you were to slip and fall, you would just land in these spiky bushes and this juniper tree. And at least you'd have the nice soft dirt and rocks to break your fall. Okay, we're gonna try this. And again, as is the case with all of this style of route that I do, if I'm not comfortable doing it, I'm just gonna turn back. I'm not doing this just to like shock you guys as viewers and get views. Like I love doing these kinds of climbs that are right on that border between scrambling and rock climbing. And this is definitely up there. And it looks like, I don't know if you guys can really tell, but this looks artificial. Like artificial holds have been blasted out of the rock almost. There are a few of them. I'm standing in one right now. My foot is in one. Huh. That's interesting. So I guess I'm on the right track. Can't believe someone took the time to do that. I think there was mining or prospecting of some sort done on top of this mountain back in the day. So maybe one of the old-timey miners did this. Let me adjust the camera angle so you can have that beautiful don't look down view. Okay, so far so good. I think this is one that I'll probably rappel on the way down. But we'll see. Okay. We did it. And there's a giant rock pile right there. I think that's for accessing this. Oh, and I can see right there a red sling with a carabiner around that tree. So that's where you rappel down. Do I go up this? Or do I traverse to the left more? I think I go up this. Yeah, we have another one of these blasted hand or footholds on top of this pile of rocks that I'm standing on. I'm just scoping out the way to go beyond this point. Do I go up and left or up and right? I don't know. Let's try up and left. I think that now we are past that climbing section, that slab. We're continuing to just go up and left. And I think this is part 4, the zigzagging up to the next cliff, to the base of the next cliff. This view is pretty unbelievable. Wow. And I like that I'm in the shade. It's going to be a warm day today. What the heck? Am I supposed to go up this? This is a sheer cliff. Let's see, looking at the GPS track, I'm too far to the right. Let's cut back left. Surely there's an easier way than this, you know, semi-featureless cliff band. Okay. I think this is it, maybe? Oh, it's definitely not that. That's an overhanging cave. I think it's this. Going up this. I mean, this is still the steepest thing by far I've had to climb here, but looks doable, I think. Well, this is definitely, again, the steepest part of the entire route. Looks a little bit tricky. I think I'm gonna try to work out the moves without the backpack on, and then see if it's something I would feel comfortable doing with the backpack on. Okay, not too bad. There are some really good handholds here. I'm now just kind of studying the upper part. I think there's another section I'll have to do after this. But this first part is definitely doable. But before we head up, let's fortify ourselves a little bit, see what snacks we have. I bought these yesterday. I like buying weird energy bars whenever I find them. And these are by a brand called Thunderbird. We've got two interesting flavors: pecan goji pistachio and cashew fig carrot. I think we'll try the cashew fig carrot first. That looks super unappetizing. It's just like a brown log. It's not bad, actually. It is a little bit figgy, kind of like a Fig Newton type taste, mixed with carrot cake. So, yeah, not bad. I'll eat it. What a wild little adventure. That was so much fun. That was so interesting, so intricate. There was so much involved with getting up to the top of this thing. And as soon as I got sort of on top of the summit ridge, the wind just started roaring. And so I'm sorry if some of that drone footage was a little bit shaky. The drone had a lot of work to do to stay stable. What a mountain, what an adventure. Let's see how long this took. It took 3 hours and 11 minutes. It was 1.81 miles with 2,164 feet of elevation gain. I'm not quite on the summit right now. The summit is like 50 or 60 feet over there. The view is a little bit better from this kind of rocky, flat area, so that's why I'm over here. Man, so much fun. Over here is that little microscopic town, Gateway. There's like a market there and some lodges and hotels and you know, just people living. So from town, from over here, this is that piece of the Palisade, of the mountain that I'm on, that just kind of looms over town as a prow of rock. And then over here we have the LaSalle Mountains. These are the mountains that are above Moab, Utah. Still plenty of snow up there. Over here we have the canyon of the Dolores River. The river flows through over here. We can zoom in and get a look at the very brown looking water. And I think we can see my car from here also. Let's see. Yeah, down way over here somewhere. Where is it? Oh yeah, right there. Right in the middle. That's the Land Cruiser, way down there. A couple thousand feet below me. And then to just continue the panorama, such beautiful colors. There's a lot more green here than there is in the Moab area, for example. Like, look at all of this entire little mountainside or hillside here is all covered in the pinyon juniper forests. It is beautiful. What a pretty place. And what a beautiful day. I mean, it's windy, but it's not as hot as I thought it would be. And then over at the far end, far on the horizon, we have a little glimpse of the San Juan Mountains, one of the more epic mountain ranges in Colorado. Beautiful. And then back on the actual summit, the highest point of the mountain, we have a little pile of rocks and some interesting artifacts. So I mentioned that there was some sort of prospecting or mining activity up here, and these are left over from that. We have an egg beater or a hand mixer. And this is really neat, an old hammer. Rusty. Still solid on there. They're like, the head isn't wobbly, but the wood is just toast. It's been out here in the elements for a long time. And then what looks like a Band-Aid tin and an empty jar and a jar with a little notebook in it. This has the summit register. I already signed this. This gets climbed a handful of times a year. And then we have these little pieces of quartz, I'm assuming. I don't have much interesting with me as far as food goes. To celebrate my summit achievement, I'll eat this Honey Stinger energy waffle, chocolate flavored. I have a little bag of sour cream and onion Lay's potato chips in the car, and I've been fantasizing about those. I should have brought those with me. That would have been a great summit snack. But for now, we'll have to make do with this, and the chips will just be an incentive to get back to the car pretty quickly. This is what must have been that guy's mining camp up here. This must have been some sort of shack held together with nails, maybe that were hammered in with that same hammer we saw up at the top. And then there's even a bed up here. How on earth did this stuff get up here? I mean, unless it was helicoptered up here, which I don't think it was, it's not like you can bring mules up here. This all would have had to have been hauled up here by hand, or by back, I guess. We have lots of rusty food cans. We have mixing bowls and pots and pans. Maybe this bowl is what that egg beater was used with. We have others over here. And then this little pot right here. The heel of a boot. At least I think that's what that is. You can kind of read what's on this can. What does that say? Hormel? Yeah, it says Hormel, so that was probably some chili or something. Lots of sardine cans too. Big can dump right here with what looks like an old crate of some sort. Some other little bits and pieces of the cabin, broken glass, hinges, more hinges, an old battery, and just more bits and pieces of someone's life from back in the day. Man, well, I've got a few thoughts about this. Foremost among them being, was this guy crazy? Or was he desperate? Or was it a crazy like a fox situation? Like, did he actually find stuff up here? I don't know. And then my second major thought is, man, I need to build a cabin up here. This would be an awesome place to get away from it all. I mean, I don't think you could physically get more away from it all than being on top of this wild mountain. I just can't imagine having to commute up here, you know, and having to bring up all the supplies and the building materials. I mean, that's a deal breaker. What a fascinating history. What an interesting story this guy would have had. I'd love to hear it. And here's an old coffee can. You can just barely make out the words coffee right there. Maybe one of you knows the details about this. If you have any information about the person or people or the operation that was involved up here, let me know. Leave a comment down below. Let us know. I'd be fascinated to learn more about that. And I'm now gonna leave the top here, guys. It is time to head back down. I'm not gonna film nearly as much going down as I am coming up, but I will film the rappels. I don't know if I'm gonna do 2 or 3 or more or less, but I think the first one I'm gonna do was that spot where I started filming with the drone, that hardest part, the steepest little section. So I'll see you guys at the top of that little cliff down there. Actually, really quick, I found another little shelter. This one is much more crude, or was. Right now it's just a pile of branches and logs, but there's a little fire pit sort of thing right here. Maybe this was the first little shelter while the upper cabin was being built. We do have some more cans over here. And some broken glass. I successfully managed to backtrack to the top of what I'm gonna call the first rappel. I passed these anchors, so these loops of webbing and with a quick link on the end. I passed by this spot on the way up, and so I was just gonna use this to rappel down to here. But I was looking around, and I think over on this much bigger tree, I think I see a little bit of webbing over there. Let's go take a closer look. Oh yeah, much bigger, much beefier tree. I think this is where we're gonna rappel from. Time to finally unpack the backpack of all this heavy stuff I've been carrying around for several hours. Got the harness and various slings and carabiners and extra webbing in case I inspect the webbing around the trees here and find them lacking. This is my little bag of camera batteries, basically. But this, okay, time for the rope to carry its weight around here. Okay, harness is on. I'm not gonna need the ascender, so we can put this away. Let me get all this gear ready and then we'll hit the ropes, I guess. Okay, so like I said, the anchor looks to be in good shape. The webbing looks fine. The quick link
here is huge and beefy. So what we're gonna do is thread one end of the rope through the quick link at the bottom. I'm gonna kind of coil the rope over my neck as I do that. And then on this rope I have the middle marked with a permanent marker. So that's what I'm looking for, and I'll stop pulling the rope through once I get to that point. Ah, there it is. Do you see this like 1 inch little band of permanent marker? That's the middle of the rope. So I'm gonna toss this half of the rope off. Rope! I don't think anyone's underneath me, but you never know. And then I'll coil the other half of the rope and do the same thing. And sometimes you might want to put a knot in each end of the rope before you throw it so that you don't rappel off the end of your ropes and fall to your death. But this rappel is so short. This is like a 30 or 40 foot rappel, and I know that this rope is much longer than that. So I'm not gonna do that. Rope! Okay, so our center point is going through the quick link. We have half the rope going down on each side, and then we insert the rope through our rappel device. And there we go. Let me do a couple other little things here and we'll head down. I've got the backpack hanging from my harness because the backpack is still kind of heavy, and rappelling with a heavy backpack is unpleasant. Rappelling with one on your back is unpleasant because it pulls you backward. Having that weight directly on your belay loop from your harness is much nicer. So that's what we're doing. This is the first of 2, possibly 3 rappels. I think I might also rappel that the first little corner that I climbed up, but I don't know. We'll see once I get there. We'll see how I feel. And I keep stepping on the backpack. Okay, here we are. We're over the hump, over the lip. Now it's just smooth sailing. All right. Rappel 1 of 3 in the bag. And then to get your rope back, you just pull one of the sides. Again, make sure there's no knot in the end of your rope. You keep pulling until it just slides through the carabiner or the quick link that's at the top. Then we coil the rope, hike down a little bit, do it all over again. I now have rappel number 2 set up. There are 2 pieces of webbing around the tree, 2 loops of webbing, and each one has a carabiner or a quick link on it. And I am wearing the backpack this time because this is kind of a low-angled slab, and it would be a pain to have the backpack dangling underneath me. This was the slab of rock that had the kind of the artificial holes put into it by some unknown party in the past. I didn't do a very good job of throwing my rope, of tossing my ends of the rope. They've kind of collected on these ledges here. This isn't one of those crazy free-hanging rappels where you're bounding down the rock. Basically, I'm just walking backward, slow and in control and steady. And I did tie the ends together on this one, or tie a knot in the end of each strand for this rappel. Because I knew this rappel would be about as long as half of the rope. And I was right, and here we are at the bottom. Beautiful. And here it comes. Okay, brought a few little pebbles down with it. That's okay, I'm still wearing the helmet. And the upper end got caught up on those ledges again, just like the rope did when I tossed it. But it's slithering its way down. Okay, 2 rappels down, 1 to go. And here we have our last rappel. Again, solid anchor around a good-sized tree. We're gonna rappel this corner. This was the first thing that we climbed up this morning. Okay, it's always a little bit awkward getting down over the lip and like putting your weight on the rope. But we have made it. All right, guys, got one last rope to pull, and I'll pack everything up, and I'll see you back at the car. We did it, guys. We conquered the mountain, made it up to the top, and made it safely back down. I'm at the car's running, the air conditioning is going. I want it to cool down a little bit, and I just drank a full can of sparkling water. It's a warm day. I would not do this in the middle of summer. It would be way too hot. Similarly, in winter, it would be too cold and snowy, so kind of a shoulder season adventure. But that was so much fun. What a fun day, what a fun trip. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. From here, I'm gonna go to Grand Junction, which is like an hour and a half away, I think, and get a burrito for dinner, and then hit the road, go camp somewhere, then I'll probably get home sometime tomorrow morning. Once I'm in Grand Junction, I'm only, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours from home. It's not too bad, but I'm tired and I want to have a sort of a relaxing rest of the day. But again, hope you guys enjoyed the video and this adventure and this trip, and hope you're looking forward to the next one. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one. Be sure to check out Adventure Know-How, my new site, where you can gain access to a map of all of my free campsites, plus monthly bonus videos that you won't find anywhere else. Learn more at adventureknowhow.com. And for links to everything else SUV RVing related, visit suvrving.com. Links to these sites and more will be in the video description.